building all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we in this joint, we in the joint. Yeah, so,
Check my check 1 2 1 2. Reporting live from Money Earning Mount Vernon. Bring to you the Nothing But Love podcast. I go by the name Money Mike.
I go by Mainovent.
And today we got the infamous talent, the comedian
yes, sir.
In the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Happy to be here.
Yes.
I didn't know you was going to be doing your Barry Manilow. Coming to you live from Inside the Nutshell.
There you go. Yes, sir.
God's funny. It's still funny. It's Nothing But Love.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to dive right into it. So tell the viewers your background. So you're originally from Money Earning Mount Vernon.
Absolutely. Born and raised Mount Vernon Hospital when it was a full hospital. You understand me?
Yeah.
When people was getting born then. It was pushing them out.
Yeah.
So born and raised here, yes, all day, straight out of what is now the condominium co-ops.
Right.
Used to be the projects. 230 South 7th Avenue. So, yeah.
Oh, you from 230?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Graduated Money Earning Mount Vernon High School, all that, the baby swamp.
Yeah.
You know, swimming these little filthy pools we had.
So
swimming Wilson Woods.
So now this is what I want to know, right? What year you graduated?
87.
87. So in 87, what did you want to do after high school?
Oh, 87, like being a comedian was in the plans, but it was like the rap career was going to go first.
You wanted to be a rapper?
Oh, we was signed, bro. Money Earning crew was signed. We was coming out
What's
after
it called
that.
again?
We signed to B-Boy Records with KRS-One.
Who was in that group?
Me, Eric Lee. My man Eric Lee was a rapper. I was a rapper.
Yeah.
We had a singer named Rohan, and we had DJ Phase 3, Paul Pryor.
Wow.
So, like, that was our crew. And then later on, we would
this
get
is
my
87.
man Jared, Jab, microphone.
Yeah.
So he would come later on. But, like, 85, 6, 7, we was doing our thing. We signed, I think, 86, 87, B-Boy Records in the Bronx. So B-Boy Records had JVC Force.
Okay.
They had Sparky D, and they had that fresh off the thing. Hot in the Streets was KRS-One with Criminal Minded.
So, what's the guy that died? KRS-One, man.
Oh, Scholar Rock.
Scholar Rock is dead already.
Scholar Rock, yeah.
Rest in peace, Scholar Rock.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Okay. So they had just pressed up. This is when we just was transferring to CDs. Mm-hmm. So they had just about to hit the streets and the record stores with the CDs. And the guy who owned B-Boy Records' name was Bill Kamara.
Okay.
And he took all the money. He took the record label money and just left the country. And everything was stagnated. So we in the middle of Chung King Studios, halfway through an album. KRS-One, they got his print and press ups about to hit the stores, and everything had to stop. But because he had 2 hot records on the joint, Criminal Minded was out.
Criminal Minded.
Right.
So Jive, he was the only one with some credibility and some worth right there.
Okay.
So Jive stepped in and was like, oh, no, this is hot, and he's stuck.
Yeah.
And his people went to Jive, and Jive signed him. Everything else was history. KRS-One was on Jive with all the edutainment albums, and all the other albums would come after that.
But that was good for you because you didn't have to pay back your advance, right?
Right. I mean, we didn't have to pay that. It was good and bad. The good thing is financially, you didn't have to pay nothing back.
Right. Exactly.
Negatively, you couldn't go nowhere.
Couldn't push
Right, you shelf.
They had you in
shelf.
shackles.
Yeah.
So they was trying to hold us because our management, ironically, was in Uptown MCA. Shout out to my man Bob over at Uptown MCA. Our management was in house, so they were like trying to figure out how to get us over there. They wouldn't budge, let nobody off them contract. They put the price high where nobody's gonna pay for an unknown group. We ain't got a single out. We ain't hit nothing yet. You know what I mean? So we sat and we sat and we sat, and lawyers. That thing went on for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever the case may be. But in that stagnation, comedy boom. So this is 87. The stagnation is 88 to 90, those 2.5, 3 years. So by 91, I'm like, you know what? My opportunity came in this thing that I would do later, much later, and I dove into the joint. So when I dove into the joint, nothing else mattered because I hit the ground running. I wasn't one of those dudes that was corny and had to get funny.
Right.
I was funny from the gate.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
So what was like one of your first comedy events that you did that you can remember?
There's so many of them, bro. But like televised wise, the first time I hit TV was on Showtime at the Apollo. And that would set the tone for everything else because you got to realize back then, 91, 92, in the 90s period, people couldn't wait to boo you.
Boo you, yeah. That was big. That was big, yeah.
It was known for it.
Yeah.
So when I go out my first time, bro, I got a stand ovation.
Okay.
And it wasn't a regular stand ovation. It was coming behind some bullshit. So it was like, you had a comic, shout out to Derek Ellis. I know him, he out of Texas. It was him, this Roughneck was out, MC Light. This how I remember this. So on the runner show is Derek Ellis, MC Light do her 2 songs, then Talent come out, right? Nobody know who the hell I am, right? I'm just, this is my first TV taping. Yeah. So I'm like, I kept hyping myself. My heart's beating. And then I want to shit on myself because it's the Apollo. And you know they boo people. So I'm just telling myself the whole time, they're going to be happy when MC Light do Roughneck. So they're going to be in a good mood. I got him in a good mood. That's what I tell myself. They bring the Derek Ellis dude out. Derek Ellis goes out. They start booing him to smithereens. I said, you know, see, they come out and like go out and make an announcement. The producers grab the mic like, listen, you can't boo him. He's a special guest. He's not an amateur. You got to let him rock. So we're going to bring him back out, try this over, run the cameras. They bring him out a second time. He says some like real goofy. He's like, you know, black girls got big booties. And they went ham and booed him again, 2 back-to-backs. So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. The house is crazy right now. But at least they're going to be happy when they hear MC Light. I'm standing right by the dude with the little walkie-talkie. He was like, all right, we're ready for MC Light. And they hit back and said, she needs 15 more minutes of makeup. Throw the talent they got there. After the 2 boos? So if you look at early talent, the character that I developed in my early years with Apollo and it would be on Def Jam and all that stuff, it was like the whole, and the slow talking, don't take it personal. But that voice came from the fear of, I'm going out here, I'm about to catch it. I already know I'm following a double boot. So they bring me out, and when I say, you know, don't take personal, it's just comedy. Like if I say you ugly and you feel you ugly, it's just a coincidence. And they laughed. And I just jumped on that back, the roll of that one little laughter, and joke, joke, thank you. And they just stood up. And I went out back, and when I went out back to sit on the stoop, I'm sitting down really so I don't shit on myself, right? So I sit on the stoop, Joe's back there rehearsing, because Joe just came out. He just broke out as an artist. So him and his dancers about there doing their show. He was like, hey man, it was a great show. I sat in that stoop about 50 minutes, bro, before I could just get back to
yourself together.
Get back in the general population. I was like, yo, I couldn't even enjoy what happened. It was just like collect yourself back again. And when that thing aired, bro, that was it. The floodgates was open. You didn't send that tape nowhere, and nobody told you, you're not booked. Everywhere that tape went, you got booked.
So now, where did you get the knocking noise from? How did that strategy come about?
My kids, my son Talent, you know, he was a baby. And you know how we always do stupid little sounds playing with babies to make them smile and laugh. And I used to always just go on his nose and touch him. This dude would crack up, right? So I would do it all the time. So it became, so I said, when I did that character, I said, you know what, that's gonna be the comma, the period, the exclamation point, whatever it is. So if I say, I'm walking down the street, I seen the lady. You know, so I started doing that with it. And every time I did it, people would giggle, just like he did as a baby. And that was it. That was it. That was the thing.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So, did you do Caroline's?
Of course. Like, Caroline's became a home.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I know, like, part of family, like Caroline herself. You know, shout out to Caroline Hurst for putting a lot of us on. And coming through Caroline's, but that became like a second home. It was so much a home, like, so about 5 years before they closed, my son was talking to me, and now my son is doing comedy, right? He's in his first or second year of comedy. And he's like, oh, Dad, you know, I filled out an application to work at Caroline so I could be around comedy and learn the inner workings. And I said, really? When did you do that? He said, I did it last week. I'm just waiting for them to call me. So you know how it is when you go to a job, you fill out an application, they throw you, join up. So I'm in a meeting with them about something totally different. And they was like, yeah, we heard your son is now trying to do comedy. I said, yeah. He said he filled out an application here. Did y'all look at it? The manager goes, what? Calls the guy over, give me those applications. He goes in there, looks at the stack. He finds them in there, goes, call this kid and hire him. Right there, like that. There. So I text him, I say, yo, be by your phone. You're gonna get a job at Caroline's. I'm sitting there now.
That's dope.
And they called him and they gave him the job. So he worked there for a few years, learning the landscape of it. You know what I mean? And when you do that, you get points with the building. And so when they bring in big acts, they'll be like, do you want to open for Damon Wayans? Right. Do you want to open for Paul Mooney or whatever the case may be? So he learned some wings that way. You know, because when my son first sent me a clip, I was on the road, and he sent me a link, and I'm thinking, because he did music too, so I'm thinking there's a video or something he shot, and it's him getting on stage at Broadway Comedy Club, and I'm like, So I'm just waking up. I'm like, press play.
Yeah.
And this was the exact same time when Chappelle was making his comeback.
What
right?
year was this?
When whatever year that was, Chappelle came back. He did 3
Came
specials.
back,
Okay,
right?
okay,
He came
okay.
back.
So the
right.
first 2 was trash.
Right, right.
So I'm sitting there, and I know him personally. I'm like, he got to get his legs on them. You know what I mean? He's just been gone.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, you can see he got his legs on them, and now you're starting to see Chappelle's back.
Right.
So I remember watching the first or the second one, whatever year it was, first or second one, and I'm watching. It's like 1 hour and 20, and I'm just like this, no chuckles, no laughs, which is bad.
Right.
My son sends me this little clip, 6 minutes.
Right.
I'm crying, 3, 4 big laughs, and I'm in the bed. I'm just waking up. Ain't no coffee or nothing. You making somebody laugh straight off the wake up is funny.
Yeah.
Right.
So then when I seen him get back in town, he's like, "Yeah, what do you think?" I said, "I thought it was real good." I said, "However, I'm gonna keep it real with you." I said, "My brand is built, so I can't touch you for at least a year. If you still doing comedy in a year, I help you with whatever you need, but you gotta do a year. I don't want to start putting my time in now because I take it too serious.
Right.
And you playing around, this is a fad for you. We're gonna have a problem. Your father gonna have to whip your ass.
Right.
So a year later, my son was just making headway and going strong, and now he's 5 years in. And I can honestly say, 5 years in, where he's at intellectually and comic-wise on that stage, way advanced than where I was 5 years in.
Wow.
So he's dumb now. Like, we just worked together
Right.
this past Father's Day weekend.
Okay.
So after the Apollo, what would you say was your first big break where like things started turning for you as far as the comedy?
Well, and it was a sequence. Apollo was, you got to give it the credit to Apollo, because everything was comedy-wise that was being taped at that time. It was a lot. So you had the Apollo, Showtime at the Apollo. So if you ripped it like I did, they taping that sucker 2-3 times a year. So you're able to get televised just with Apollo 2-3 times a year. Then that springboards you. People are looking at you for the BETs, and they had Apollo Comedy Hour. They had the Uptown Comedy Club TV show, and all those things start gradually building because they're all out at the same time, right? They're all out in those years. And then out of nowhere, bam, here comes this huge thing that's about to change the whole game called Def Comedy Jam.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And because of the work I had been putting in those few years, you know the players. You don't know they're the players yet until the casting time comes around. And when you see who's casting you and calling you in and putting the auditions on and all that, you're like, oh, I've been working and practicing around the players, the players in this game for the last few years. So they already know your work. You know, now it's just about getting up here when I bring in Stan Lathan to see you, when I bring in Russell and they sitting down there to look and see what it is, it's for you to execute in that moment in that time.
What was that?
And these wasn't tough rooms.
What was that phone call like when you first got it?
The first one was like the audition one is the same thing. Now you're back to the nerve-wracking Apollo feeling.
Okay.
Like, oh, I hope, because I knew the club it was in,
Yeah.
and this club ain't no slouch. In Jersey, we had a club called the Peppermint Lounge.
Okay.
And everybody who was anybody in New York and New Jersey was in this club. All the NBA players, all the NFL players, the whole flavor unit. Latifah's in there every Thursday. Tretch, so everybody in there. God bless the dead. Patchy.
Okay,
Nicky
Patchy,
D,
yeah,
all
yeah.
that whole Jersey, everything in it. Fugees, everything in there.
Everybody.
So you're like, damn, this night. And now you're just hoping you get a good spot because there's 20 dudes at the stage. That's a long night. Hoping you ain't number 20.
Yeah.
End up being like number 14, 15, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just on the side and taking a couple shots, trying to get right. And so cats is burning up. Like you might have one to do good, and 4 scrape, and 1 do good, and 4 scrape. So when it get to me, I'm like, I go up there with the energy and everything. I'm doing it, and I used to close on this music bit. Now, if I knew what I knew then, I wouldn't have closed on. I would close on something else. But it was a strong bit. I know I can't lose. And sure enough, raised the roofs in my house, killed it. Everybody said, you on, baby. We gonna call you. The so-and-so's gonna call you. You on. So I done went to my damn job. You know Westchester. I'm working in Elmsford at the warehouse. So I'm already lined up. I'm about to quit.
Yeah. Talking
Respect
greasy
me.
to the
So
supervisors, all that.
I'm talking greasy. I'm on my way out. I'm on my way.
Getting that check. That check coming.
Yeah. You talking greasy to the supervisors.
It's going
You
down.
talking greasy
I'm
to the
on my way
supervisors.
out.
You like what? I'll leave right
So
now.
The whole week, I'm looking at the phone in the warehouse. The phone's hanging on the wall this way. Every time I work it, but I keep looking at that phone. Man. That phone, y'all don't understand.
Get that
Phone,
ticket.
that phone
I'm out of
never
here.
rings.
Get my
Never
bags. How we
rings.
say it
It
about
never
Bernie.
rings.
Get my bags. That's how we say
Get
it.
my bags.
Get
But-
my
but
bags.
The phone
Phone never
never
rings.
rang.
Wow.
So now, fast forward, those weeks or whatever go by, that phone don't ring.
And what year is this?
This is 92, 3?
2? Okay,
90
that's about right.
I say 92.
Okay.
And when it did ring, but see, I'm on the comedy scene, so I know the days we taping.
Yeah.
I just didn't get my call.
Okay.
So I'm talking to comics. Yeah, you get your call? Now I get my call. Well, I'm gonna go down and see what's, I don't know, maybe it's a mistake. So I'm going down to my fellow comedians, we hanging.
Yeah.
I see the guy. I see, yo, Bob. So what's up, man? I never got the call. Talk to Tina. I go see Tina. I never got the call. Tina's like, oh yeah, they didn't tell you? I said, nah. You know, they was gonna do it, and they changed their mind looking at the tape because you did the music bit. So I'm like, what that got to do with anything? I got a ton of other jokes. Yeah, but they got to go off your audition tape, right? So it was like, problem is now if you pay attention to Def Jam, and nobody knew this if you don't be told, Russell was so smart with the music on Def Jam. Everything was Def Jam recordings. So he made another lump of money on his record label from the soundtrack of Def Jam. Everybody you see brought out, they're brought out to like a Def Jam beat or Def Jam song. If it ain't on Def Jam, it can't be played. He's not paying to
He kept
clear
it
the
full
music.
circle. Yeah.
The only exception that came up maybe a couple of years later was because Kid was signed to them, Kid could play his music because he owned the music. But they wasn't about to pay to clear no music. So if I wanted to play something off of Epic Records, I can't. If I want to play a clip or something off of B-Boy Records, I can't. If it ain't Def Jam, we ain't clearing it, think of something else. So they skipped me that year. So I come back next year. I'm even deadlier now. Now I done got more, I'm more fucking veteran-like. I done got legs under me. So I blow that audition. It ain't even close or whatever. So get them on. So I get on. I rock. Comes back around next year, call that dude again. I get on, I rock again. Next year, come around, call that dude again. After 3 times, I done landed Sunset Park, the movie. Okay. So now this movie coming out. So now again, it's like, y'all gotta respect what's about to happen. This is a motion picture.
Yeah.
So they was like, we going to LA to do the All-Star joint, and we got all the bigger comedians are gonna host their own episode. I said, I need the host. We got Jamie, we got Chappelle, we got Chris Rock. I need the host. I got a movie. These things ain't got movies out right now. I got a movie drop.
Right.
I got a movie drop. Sunset Park, TriStar Pictures,
So
Columbia
wait.
TriStar.
Let's go back to the movie right now. So you're in Sunset Park. So what was that like? Explain to the viewers, like, what was that like? You getting the role? How long was the role? How did Sunset Park even come about for you?
Okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning, but understand the role. Butter, when you in a movie, you got 3, levels. You got a person that's called an extra. You notice they'll never say words, right? You got a person that might get a couple of lines. You know what I mean? So they're getting paid different than the extra. Then you got what you call a principal. The principals are your main characters in the thing. So the principals, they're gonna be talking through the whole shit. So I'm home one day. This is ironic. The same guy, Bob Sumner, who was the guy who had to get me on Def Jam, right, with the audition. One of my cousins, I didn't even know it was my cousin at the time, one of the top casting directors at the time in the 90s of all the black movies and everything, Robbie Reed.
Okay.
So Robbie Reed casting, they put a thing out. We're shooting a basketball movie, we're looking for this, boom, boom, boom. So Bob reads the treatment of the character, and he calls me and say, yo, man, they about to cast for this movie, man, this basketball movie. I'm reading the treatment, bro. This is you. Because Bob played ball, too, so we played ball together. He said, this is you, bro. Tall dude, he plays the center, blah, 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 girls and stuff all on him. So he playing for the girls. He suffers with the ball, boom, boom. You can do this. And he's humorous. And I was like, all right. He said, well, I'm going to set it up, man. I'm going to call you, go down there, do the audition. In my mind, I'm like, I ain't never had an acting nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even act my way out of an ass whooping as a kid. So I'm like, all right, man, I'll go down there. So I go down there, and I say some ad-lib stuff to make it funny, whatever. And it was like, all right, they give me a call back. They come back and they give me something different to do. Then they give me a 3rd call back. When I go in the 3rd call back, they got the director in there, the other producers in there, and Rhea Perlman, who's one of the stars from Cheers, Danny DeVito's wife. Danny DeVito's in there and his wife Rhea's in it. So now they want me to sit across from Rhea and those parts in the script and read with her. Dude, I done blew about 3 movies I could have did or been in because I'm starstruck.
Okay.
Like I was supposed
Yeah,
to
you
be
caught
a
up in the
first-time
moment.
felon.
Yeah.
First time felon. I was supposed to be a first time felon, but I read them with rock. I'm like this. He's like, go ahead. I'm like, stuck. I'm stuck.
Yeah, stuck.
Rock. So I was stuck. I'm like, he's like, how you doing? I was like, yo, man. He's like, I was like, big fan.
You were
like,
stuttering?
Dude, I was like this, look, big fan. He was like, all right, ready? Go. I was like, he's like, I'm gonna start off and help you out. I just couldn't get out the funk, so I blew that.
Should have been like, yo, I'm talented.
Yeah.
Yo,
Dude, I can't do it that
when
loud.
you stuck, bro.
Right. You starstruck.
You stuck. So I'm like, this is happening again. I'm sitting in front of Rhea.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, how you doing? It's nice. We really like what I've been watching your tapes. So that's why you got this third callback. She's like, hey, let's do this part. And she do some shit, man. Whatever I did was not it, right?
Yeah.
So she does like this, hand on the knees, like, just calm down. It's cool. Just calm down. I calm down. She said, let's do this one. Changes up the scene or whatever we do it. And I nail the scene. So I leave, but I don't know I nailed the scene. I'm just leaving like that. I fucked that up. I was all over the place, right? But I nailed the scene. And they called Bob and was like, yo, so you rapping him or whatever, blah. He was like, yeah. All right, we'll call him. We think we're gonna go with him, but it's the final audition. And the final audition is you gotta come back to the city in this gym, and they got all these ringers in there, and you gotta ball with these dudes, right? So you gotta be the part, because there's gonna be a lot of ball, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, ain't nothing to me, right? Now, we balling and everything up and down the joint. I know a couple of these dudes from, Rutgers and West Third or West Ball. So we having a good time balling. Now, they just got down there to get paid the ball. They have no idea, what's going on. This is a movie. So we got to really ball. So Fredro, he's not really a baller or whatever, but he can do enough where they like, you know what? That's our star guy. We can put him in training, whatever, do it. So when I get the part, they say, yo, you got the part. I'm like, okay. But then here come the bull. It's like, oh, I got the part. It was dope. Everything was in Manhattan. So I'm thinking everything gonna be in Manhattan. He's like, nah, we're filming out in LA. What? Yeah, you got to be prepared to uproot and live out there for 6 to 8 months.
6
Your
to 8
family
months?
then? Like your son
Oh
was
yeah,
little.
my son was here.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Everybody was in
my apartment was in Pelham, on
Okay.
5th Avenue, Pelham, the
Okay.
buildings, the old buildings.
Right.
So I lived in there, but you making enough money where I keep my apartment, I can still pay this rent. They paying for over here, so you're still just paying one. You ain't paying the second place.
Right, okay.
That comes with your contract.
Okay.
And then you need a car to get around, they give you a car. So they're
that's
paying
dope.
for your car, they're paying for your living. Every day you get a per diem.
So you in the
they pay
mix.
your food. So you just collect it.
You in the mix.
Yeah, you just collect it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Right
sending
now.
them checks home.
Yeah.
Everything's stacking home. And I'm out there living off that
just
little
you
buck
went over
50.
there. So the family stayed and you went over
The
there.
family stayed.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
I would bring people out, including just the homies from Mount Vernon sometimes, because see, LA is a different vibe, and if you ain't consorting to that way of life,
Absolutely.
it's weird to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm so Mount Vernon, I can't.
Everything's VIP
Dude,
out there.
I
They
was
choose
flying
you.
home at first every 2 weeks or every weekend on the weekends. Once I figured out the schedule,
Yeah.
I can come back home, get a little bit of this energy,
Yeah.
then go back. So the first 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it was straight basketball camp.
Okay.
It was just working like with some of the cats who don't really play that much. You had to work with the fundamentals. But with us, it was the workout shit, like you play for the Clippers, man. The real workout. You go home burning. You know what I mean? Ice out. So we had 3-4 weeks of that. And then at the same time, when you wasn't doing those hours of training, you were sitting at a table read, doing the words, going through the script.
Yeah.
So you know it here. Right? And then finally, when the shooting started, they went to Long Beach. So the high school in Long Beach was like the high school in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Okay. They did the colors, the lockers, everything like that. Even the gym, right? It looked like we in Sunset Park, Brooklyn.
What year is that?
95.
95, okay.
So then the only time we flew back to New York, every few weeks we'd fly back to New York to get exteriors to give it, valid looks.
Right.
So like, cause you go to the state finals, we're playing at the Garden, so we got to really be in the Garden, like show you the outside of us walking in.
Okay.
Really in Brooklyn, we outside of Brooklyn school, we really in Brooklyn outside the school, but all interior was on the West Coast. So we was in, was it the Staples Center?
Right.
And they literally, that's how you know you're doing big production money. They literally took everything down and made it the Garden. So when you look at the movie, you think you're watching me in the Garden.
Yeah,
We in
Staples Center.
LA,
Stage.
Staples Center.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's dope.
That's crazy.
That's dope.
So that would change everything. For a comedian, the more credits you got under your belt, the more you can, when a person calls to book you, the more you can ask for a price. price keep going up. You feel what I'm saying? When I hired Kevin Hart, I was giving Kevin Hart $1,000 to $2,000 a city. You feel what I'm saying? You're gonna have to give him,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Facts.
$500,000 now for one
Right.
show.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? 700,000, something like
Right.
that. So the more you get, the more you want to do, because now you go from, they used to pay me $500, now I could command $1,500. Now I command $3,000. Now I command $4, $5, $6. You know what I mean? So like a guy like me, I end up doing Sunset Park begot 2 more movies from the director and the writer on that movie. They were working on 2 more projects after that. So I got to play a cop in Brothers Kiss. I got to do another movie called With or Without You with J.B. Smooth. You know, and then I would go on to do a few more. So like a total of 8 or 9 movies.
What did you in Who's the Man? Oh,
No, not Who's the Man. I did My Brother, Brothers Kiss. I did what's that joint called? 30 Days.
Okay.
30 Days, believe it or not, as corny as the movie might have ended up being, that joint was star-studded. Like they had everybody that was going to come up. The Brat's in it. Tay Diggs is in it. Rev Run's in it. It was so many people. Like the names was endless, and like ball players and everything. And it was about these 2 schools. This race riot broke out.
Right.
And the judge sentenced each kid to go and live in the other person's community in school. So now you gotta go to school in that pearly white school. You gotta go in that hood school, and to learn about each other, so they can respect each other. It's a good movie. It was good, but it was like a B movie, like kind of like corny written, like you know, even at least Fredro had in Sunset Park the fundamental beginnings. It was easy to train to play ball.
Right.
The white kid in the other movie, they showed no clips of this dude up and down that court. They'll show you like this, like a chest pass or something. So if you ain't got that, it's hard to make you do it.
So after Sunset comes Def Comedy Jam.
No, Def Jam came before Sunset.
Oh, Def
So
Comedy Jam.
after I did Sunset, I was able to demand to be a host instead of a featured artist, which changed the level of play.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So when I went back to them, like, yo, I did it 3 times, I need to host. Oh, then back and forth. I said,
And who was hosting at that time, Def Comedy Jam?
when they went to the All-Star, before that, they went from...
Wasn't it Martin? Was Martin?
No, Martin started season 1. Martin, people forget Martin only did 1 season.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like he did
And
like
then
the whole
they
thing.
didn't want to pay what he wanted. He started, after
so
that
he
shit
brought
popped,
it
he came with the demands. It was like, we good. They went Joe Torre.
How many episodes
right,
in
Joe
one
Torre,
season? Like 12?
yes.
12 episodes in one season?
10 or 12.
Okay.
So Martin was done in 1.
Right, I remember Joe
They brought in
Torre.
Joe Torre, who was hot at the time.
Right.
Then they went from Joe Torre, I don't know if he did a couple or whatever, but they went to a 3-plot. So they split it between Adele Givens, Ricky Harris, and Joe Torre. Then after those seasons, that's when they went All-Star. So all 12 would be 12 different people. Steve Harvey will host 1, Cedric will host 1, Samoa host 1, Adele host 1, that type of thing.
Okay. And then that's where you came in.
Yeah, so I said, you gotta give me one of them joints.
Yeah.
Crushed it. Crushed it. Got the Tim Brown jersey on.
So, didn't you do radio at one time?
Still do it.
Okay.
Still do it. I'm
Ooh,
about,
BLS, right?
I started with Kiss. I was
Oh, you going back?
started
Old
in
school.
03. I started in 03.
Okay.
I did a seven-year run on the morning show.
Right.
And the morning show went from one version, then we got our own version. And then I would get my own night show.
Okay.
You know, so now I'm back on the new station, 94.7 The Block, with Miss Jones in the morning.
So how was the radio experience when you went to radio?
Oh, lovely. I don't even know if I like radio. I've just been blessed to have these situations, these perfect situations. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people, they do it because they got to do it. They don't know nothing else, but they don't love it.
And you
Like,
had a
I love
7-year
it
run
'cause
on radio? That was a 7-year run on radio?
That was the first show.
Yeah, you was
that
on
was
it
the
for a
first
minute.
morning show.
I remember him.
That was the first morning show. Kiss
Oh,
it
wow.
from 98.7.
Wow. Okay. All right. So right now we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with the infamous talented comedian.
Absolutely.
Zerr.
That's what's up. Mic check, mic check, mic check. We back, NuttinButLuv podcast. We got my man Talent in the building. So Talent, man, you know, your drive is crazy, man, over the years, you know what I'm saying? Especially like during the 90s, you know, the beginning of everything with you. I want to know, like, who inspired you to, you know, be a comedian, and where did you get the drive? Because it seems like you had a crazy work ethic in the 90s.
I mean, it's easy, man. Obviously, work ethic, generally, heavy D. You know,
Okay.
you got to go to Hev's work ethic. Because in high school, we had woodshop together.
Right.
And he was a funny dude in woodshop, but I had no idea the work ethic he was putting in until we see it play all the way out. So you got Heavy D on just the entertainment side, and then the specific comedy side, I got to say JB Smooth, because that's the first dude put me on stage. You know what I mean? And I watched him, what he
stage was
did.
that?
I remember 241st Street on the border, we had the Lady Eye. So in the back of the Lady Eye,
yes,
bar
yes.
was a whole room
Yes.
that looked like a comedy club.
Yeah, Lady Eye. Yeah.
So JB, 33 years ago on 4th of July weekend, we had some festival down here, Memorial Field, and he had these paper flyers he was giving out.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, telling me and my boy AD, like, yo, y'all should come down there, man, get on. And at the time, I'm like, I ain't doing that. I got my job, whatever.
Yeah.
And I go down with AD, and we just watch the show. And I'm just staring at, like, amazement, like, I got to do that. I'm looking at guys like Hamburger and Franz Cash. I'm like, I want to do that, like Atomic Dog and Flex Alexander.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to get it like that. You know what I mean?
crazy.
So those are my two inspirations.
So do you think that the comedy game is saturated now? How do you feel about that?
I always say comedy's like the new rap. I mean, it's one way I can see a person perception being like it's saturated. But that's anything in entertainment. You're going to get everybody to try their hand at something.
Okay.
But the actual comedy game, like us working comedians, not at all.
Okay.
You know, I can see the perception though, because you got people on social media being funny and I'm gonna be at the comedy club and and they ain't even put no licks in and no work in.
Absolutely.
So from the outside looking in, I can see how it look like that. But actual working comedians, nah, you need us all.
And what part of the game do you like? Would you say you looked in the mirror and said, "Yo, I made it"? Like, when did you say, like, I made it? Like, I feel good about myself. I'm where I need to be.
I think when I could, like I said, when I can call my shots, when you get to a point, this is what you're looking for. I don't care if it's acting, comedy, whatever. If live performance is in your repertoire, when you get to a point where you can turn stuff down, when you don't have to say yes to everything, like that's a running joke. Like if you looked at the roast, they had for Tom Brady, everybody who was snapping on Kev, that was a running joke. It was like, you don't turn nothing down. Like, I've never seen nobody not turn nothing down. But when you have that option, when you can get to a point and go, somebody call you, yo, we got this thing, blah, 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 and you go, nah, I'm good. Call so-and-so, I think he'd be good for that, or you just turn it down. Now you have made it.
Absolutely.
Now you have made it. You feel what I'm saying? Because we are a slave to a rhythm until we're not.
Right. That's what's up, man. So what advice would you have for like young comedians coming up in the game right now?
We talked about it earlier. Make your connections.
Okay.
As far as the comedy game goes, try to stay on stage. Not. I don't mean that in a monetarily way. I mean that in just a physical form. You try to stay on stage. Comedy has to become like the back of your hand. It has to become automatic for you to be any good. So if you can get on the stage 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week, take it, do it. Don't say, oh, I went up Tuesday, I'm good. You're never gonna get better like that. It's like roller skates, bro.
Right.
You gotta stay on them skates, man.
Right.
You ever get off them skates, go back, bust your face in that rink.
Yeah.
Just stay on them skates.
Absolutely.
Right.
And stay on them tours too, like doing tours and
Yeah,
shows.
but that's where you
staying active.
The thing about tours is you're gonna get so much networking done. Like you're going city to city, and you never know who's at a tour, and you making connections every time. You're making connections, not with just the people you're working with, but there's people coming to see those people too. So you're gonna meet. I met all my heroes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every hero I had as a kid growing up, I met all of my heroes because work begets work, and I find myself in these spaces and places, and I'm going networking and put myself on.
Yeah, networking is everything, man.
Everything.
We learn that every day. Absolutely.
So let's get into, at this point, your business ventures that you did, like, and we was talking about behind the scenes,
Right.
like Buffalo and stuff like that. So tell the viewers, like, it's one thing that you doing comedy, but let's dive into your business ventures and what made you choose Buffalo and Rochester for these ventures.
Got you. First of all, business wise, I learned very early in my first year, if that, what side of the gate that was more important, right? So meaning, I remember somebody putting together a comedy show at the Radisson in the Rochelle, in the ballroom downstairs. And they hired, they had a host, I was one of the comedians they hired, the DJ in the ballroom, they sent people. Now this is back in 91, 92, so The ticket was $35. That's like $100 back then. This dude got a $35 ticket, right?
Yeah.
So I'm coming in, and the girls who's working the door, taking the tickets and the money, I know them from school.
Yeah.
So we just chop. Oh, I ain't seen you. How you doing? That. We chopping it. As I'm chopping it, people are coming in, handing their tickets, going in there. So I ain't looking there yet, right? They're coming in there, and the group of 6 come in. I never forget this. This changed everything. And it was like, we don't have advance tickets. You got any more at the door? And the girl said, how many of y'all? She said 6. She said, all right, y'all the last 6. It's $40 a piece at the door. They paid that money. They went in there. The girl started folding the box up and everything. So we sold out. I said, sold out? I said, how many people in there? They said, 350. We got to stop at 350. It's the cap. I'm like, 350 times 35. I said, wait a minute.
Wait a
This
minute.
nigga's clearing 12 grand or something. I said, I'm getting $250 to be here. I said, I opened the door and looked in there. I'm putting it all together, bro.
Yeah.
Right away, because, I come to Mount Vernon High School. Math was my
Yeah,
major.
yeah.
So I'm looking, I'm going, I said, okay, he giving us, let's say the comedy budget 15, DJ, rent through the place.
Yeah, he ran off with the
I
bag.
said, he clearing 12, right?
Yeah, he ran off with the bag.
I said, right then and there, I knew. I said, T, you got to be on that side of the gate.
Okay.
Then as I would go further and got into acting, I'm looking at where the money going. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting the part, and I'm looking good on the screen. So that's a problem. That's what they play on with black folks. We love to be on that screen, love to be seen and floss, but we don't pay attention where that money going. So I'm looking at the money, I'm saying, wait a minute. I got a manager, this is getting 20%. I got an agent getting 20%. Right. They just made me hire an accountant getting 20%. A publicist getting $2,500 a month. I'm saying, your money, before you get to put in your pocket, is so split up. It's so little minuscule when it get to you. I'm like, I said, I got to own everything. Yeah. So I played the game for, I say, my first maybe 6-7 years. Mm-hmm. And as I'm playing the game, I'm opening up stuff. I get rid of you, the publishers, and I open my publicity company. Mm-hmm. I get rid of the accountant, and I hire my dude and put him on retainer for the accountant. Forget who they gave me. So you ain't getting a percentage now. Now I'm paying you as I pay you. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Saving money right there. Right. I'm looking at what the agent does, the connects and all that. I open my own agency. I'm looking at the marketeer. I open a marketing company. I open a management company. And as I'm learning these things are going on, the young bucks that's on my tail coming behind me, I'm signing them. So now, when you coming up and people, oh, that young boy funny, man. Call me take my card. Call me at the office. Me and my partner Q. And we're talking, whatever. So now you fast forward right now, I own everything I do. Everything I do, from you call to book me, from you put me on the flyer, marketing. You feel what I'm saying? Travel, everything got to come through my company, which I own, the companies. And so when I fast forward, well, the only thing left after all that, the only thing left is what you just brought up, comedy club. I'm still going to these clubs, and I still got to either take whatever the deal is that we work out, or a percentage of the door, or whatever the case may be. I can't call too many shots because this guy owns the building. Right. So I said, we need to own a building. I go to Rochester, and they say, why Rochester? The first comedy club I headlined as a headlining comedian was in Rochester. It was called Hiccups or something. And it was inside of a hotel, and me and the owner, shout out to Gerard, I don't even know if he's still alive, but me and this dude hit it off, and I was with William Morris Agency at the time, and he booked me the headline. And dude didn't know who I was. He's as white as they come, I'm as black as they come, right? And he goes, but there's a black-owned station up there. And he's like, man, I just booked you because I want to get so-and-so from your agency, so I had to give you a weekend, blah, blah, blah. I don't know who you are. I said, do you have radio? He said, yeah, we got WDKX. Shout out to WDKX. I've been still working there to this day. So I'm like, okay, well, let me get there at a certain time, get me a hotel room, get me on the radio. Right. The people know who I am. Right, facts. You white as they come, Gerard. Right, you don't know who I am. You don't know what's going on. Get me on the radio. Get me on the radio. I'm going to show you something. Yeah. So I get on the radio, bro, and I go on the radio, go, it's just comedy. Yeah, yeah. Sell out 4 shows. This white man, when he had to pay me at the end of the weekend, was like, who are you? Right. He said, I don't know what the fuck you are. He was literal, became like this. Yeah. He was like, but the people know who you are. How can I get more of this? Yeah. And I said, well, good thing you asked, because I'm starting my company, right? Yeah. So I go my card, call me direct, and I know all of these guys in tri-state. I can bring them up
Bring 'em
here.
up.
Give me 1 weekend out the month. We'll do 4 shows, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday. Let's work the budget out. You in the hotel, give us the rooms. We'll get ourselves up here. We got hotel rooms, and everybody's getting paid. I bring you that fire that we do in New York City. And for 3.5, 4 years straight, I bring them that fire. The radio love me, and we make a relationship. So now I'll come up. Now it get to the point where I come up a week ahead of my show. And sit in the morning show and be a member of the morning show for a straight week, Monday through Friday. So when they get there Friday, I done promoted that sucker so bad, we done oversold it. We into bonuses now. William Morris, the agency, got mad at me, right? I didn't know. So I get a letter, I get a bill. You owe this money, commission. I said, this can't be right. Y'all take the commission off the top.
That's a fact.
I said, give me a printout. Send me the printout. And I see Rogers, all these months I'm doing. I called the dude. I said, bro, how you going to charge me for something you ain't booked?
Right.
He said, well, we booked you there for your weekend. So any work you got after that, we figure you owe us 20% of everything you booked. I said, absolutely not.
Wow.
But thank you. Nice doing business with you. Holler back at your boy. And that was our split. And now Robin Hood Entertainment and all those companies that I told you I formed and everything, that was us. So I got lucky and the opportunity fell into my there was a comedy club up there. And they came, this is Rochester, and the guy, there was 2 partners. One was a chef and one was like a club promoter dude. And the club promoter dude was like leaving because he was now building an arena. He was going bigger. So the other dude needed a partner. We sat down with him, boom, boom, boom. We walked in there, partnered out. We got the It's Just Comedy Club, right? Okay. You can pull that up. You go online, you'll see the web and all that stuff. So in Buffalo, my business partner, Q, my boy Q, his family live in Buffalo. And we always said if we're going to open something, because we're heavy on the road, we need some people in place that can run it when we leave. Right. And his mom and everybody was in Buffalo. So a place fell in our lap. There was a club with a restaurant with it, takeout restaurant. So we was like, wait a minute. We went in there, man, put that money in that build out, flipped that joint. We had the party room with the booths. We had the takeout joint to the other side, and we had a sliding door to the Pryor room. I called it the Pryor room ever Richard Pryor comedy room.
I don't want to jump the gun. So it's safe to say you set up shop in Rochester, so you're able to bring up Mark, Rob, I guess Capone, the whole circle. You're able to bring the whole circle
New York
up.
Kings? Yeah. I brought everybody up. And you got to remind you, this is still the 90s.
Right.
The New York Kings is not born until 2000. My birthday, May 8th. My birthday's May 9th. So May 8th was, I think, a Friday. The year 2000, the New York Kings are born.
Okay.
First show, the Apollo Theater. And again, when you don't own, you will play yourself. So we have this idea. We get together on the conference. Now we out there like, yeah, let's go shopping around. Blah, blah, blah. Took it to the Apollo. At the time, I'm hosting the Apollo. So I take it to the Apollo. And it was like, yeah, we think we could do something with this. We like this. We give y'all 10 grand. Let's do this.
Like what?
10 grand? What? We took that.
Yeah, that's some money.
Oh, you took that.
We took that. Come on, bro.
This is the 90s
We
still.
young and dumb.
Okay.
We like 10 grand on table B. That's 25 a piece. Let's get it.
Let's eat.
Yeah.
Until you see this place sold out. And again,
the math.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, we
like
got
10
jerk.
never
We got
again.
jerk. We got jerk.
ticket.
We got jerk. Yeah.
15 on the table.
Yeah.
But we was
Build
like,
it back.
okay, we'll come back. And we did. We end up coming back and doubling, doing 2 shows in one night and making our own ticket prices and owning the show. Right. Because that's the thing I was learning along the way. Okay. Own. So I own the Buffalo thing. Like right now, we're building, those were our old clubs that we started in the 90s and the 2000s. So in Rochester and Buffalo right now, the building is done. We're waiting for the permits. We'll be open in October in Rochester with the new venue.
Yeah.
Buffalo, maybe later in the winter, maybe December, January, that'll be open. So they're only an hour apart. Okay. So I get to bring my comedians, bring you here, boom, drive you here, boom. 2 for 1 hit. Comedians making double the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm doing my part. That's always been who I've been, though, in this business. Other than being funny and being talent, if you talk to comedians, they'll tell you who I really am. Like, dude, I keep all you dudes working.
That's dope.
You feel what I'm saying? Like,
that's dope.
I'm me, and you see me doing what I'm doing, but behind the scenes, I keep the game going.
Yeah.
Even when COVID happened, everything shut down. Nobody knew what to do. Me and my dude, Ray DeJean from Video Music Box, sit down, the brains, right? You know what? Let's do this drive-in comedy shit. Remember, because you couldn't be near nobody.
Yeah, you couldn't be nobody. Yeah,
And then it was you
contact
could be outside.
each
So
other.
by
Exactly.
June, brother,
Yeah.
we out there
I
rocking
remember that,
every
yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Dudes is in their cars.
Yeah.
Speakers, drinks being brought to your car.
Yeah.
We rocking. We rocking so good
And
for a
this
couple
is,
of months.
This is Rochester. Okay.
This is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Brooklyn,
Okay.
Queens, Long Island. We was everywhere. Bronx.
Okay.
And then we doing so many of them so good on a consecutive basis. Live Nation looking. Live Nation go, yo, this is something they doing here. But we doing like parking lots, remember, we did Levity Live when we first came back COVID while they did it in the parking lot. They seen the joint. Let's do that with you
Right.
guys here. 2,000 cars out here, blah, blah, blah. Did that. Live Nation watching like, these guys are on to something. So now you get the call. Live Nation rents out where the Phillies play, the stadium parking lot.
Right.
Make like a comedy summer jam, bro. Jazzy Jeff is DJing, Freeway's performing. It's me, Michael Blacks, is my man Tremaine Gordon, a couple other comics. Like, we're blazing a parking lot with 2,000 cars, bro. You
should have sold
It's
that
like
to
4,000 or
Netflix.
5,000 people, like, and just.
Why
it's
you ain't
crazy.
sell it? Why you sell it to Netflix?
Oh man, it wasn't mine to sell. That was their joint in the
okay.
parking lot, like
Right.
at that magnitude or whatever.
Yeah. Did
But
they film
then
it? Did anybody film that?
Nah, but they had the big screens out there like Summer
That'd have
Jam.
been dope.
And here's the thing though, it was dope in its time.
Yeah.
Soon as we was able to get back to normal,
Yeah, that cut out. Yeah,
it's kind of gone.
It was
now you're back
obsolete.
to the parks
Yeah.
and
Yes,
yeah,
the
yes.
amphitheaters and stuff like that. But that was doing what you had to do in that moment in time.
So real quick, I want you to tell the viewers how critical was it for you, and tell the viewers what role did the publicist play? Because I heard you say that,
Right.
And let them know the price. Because I heard you say $2,500.
And back
so
then, that's back then, so it's probably way more than that.
right.
Probably double.
So, but let them know the function. I don't think they understand the
Right.
function
A
of the publicist.
Oh yeah, simple. A publicist. Think of what it is: publicity. So now I know their job is kind of they had to figure it out with social media because social media made everybody their own publicist. So if you can get followers, you could be your own publicist. You know, why I'ma hire a girl who she's a publicist. She calls a publicist, but she has 2,000 followers. I got 500,000. Why am I hiring you? I got 500,000 people I'm talking to. How many are you going to talk to? So the publicist back then was a real big deal in the entertainment industry. It was that person that had those connects
The connects, right?
to get you notoriety and get you out there. So you might be this new rapper. Okay, man, let's get him a publicist. We need to get him out here. That girl getting that $2,500 a month, and every month, all month long, she's beating up Vibe magazine. She's beating up Double XL. She's beating up Source magazine.
she got the
she's beating up
contacts.
BET
Right.
Awards and blah blah blah, just to get you linked in on the cover of these magazines, or right up inside, or on the guest list for the BET Awards, or whatever. Everything that's anything, I needed you to be there.
Be there, right?
You know, it's funny because I looked at a documentary that Joey Nas did, right? And they're talking about LL, and they put the laptop in front of LL. They're talking about the Supreme team and how they was throwing these big ass parties. And it was like, you remember going to the party? LL was like, yeah, I went to a few of them joints. And they pull a laptop up with the old footage. LL, nobody know who he is.
Right, he was.
But
he
he got
was
the
there.
big LL.
Yeah, he was just there
sweatsuit
in the
on,
crowd. Right.
Can't go. He's just in the crowd.
In the crowd.
He's laughing like,
Yeah.
word, yo, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, he was
and
just
everybody
there.
just walking around.
Walking
like
right
there's
past her.
nobody.
That's a fact.
Yeah, yeah.
But he
I've
knew
seen that.
he had to be where it is. Publicity is everything. You know, we know who we know half the time, 90% of the time, because of the publicity they may or may not get.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a million people. I always laugh at this because of my multi-talents. I run into people who know me for different things. So I'll be on the line at Stop and Shop getting some dog food. And I'll just be on the phone and talk, and somebody will turn around and go, I know that voice. You was on the radio, da, da, da. Yeah. Oh, I knew it. I knew the voice, but don't know shit else. Don't know I did a movie.
Just know the voice,
Don't know
yeah.
I did comedy.
Right.
They just want to talk about the voice and the radio.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And then I'll walk out the parking lot, same dog bags,
Yeah, yeah.
and somebody go, yo,
Yeah, yeah.
Sunset Parkwood, you know what I mean? Time to get live. But he knows that.
Right.
And then they go, you get in the car, and then somebody come by,
Yeah.
they know that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so
Exactly.
everybody will know you from all these different things, so you
Okay.
wear all these different hats. But, you know, I think the thing most proud about in this game is how many other kids I fed, how many people I keep working to keep the game going. Those are the guys that are glued to the thing. You know what I mean? Like, nothing, like if I need something for real, I can We talked about relationships. I could call Kevin Hart.
Right.
Hey, nigga, you send a mill. It's bad.
Right.
It's bad. They're about to kill the whole family.
We need some money.
Mill.
You hear that, Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Kev,
But
where you at, baby?
I don't call it till I need it.
Yeah, till you need it.
Call anybody you see out there.
But you got that gold card.
Other than a couple of people who might still have a little beef.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what's up. So, getting back to the businesses up in Rochester, Buffalo. What are some of the other endeavors you got going on that's coming up that you want to share?
Well, I'm gonna, we're working on a documentary now about comedy, the Renaissance, and the Renaissance is basically the changeover that when we went from black comedy to like being comedy. Like we run things now. Top box office happen to be all the black. You lucky if you got 2 or 3 strong box office Caucasian comics. When you look at any comedy lineup, you look at any club, whatever, we're the breadwinners now. So we were the stepchild. We started black comedy.
Right.
They would always separate us from mainstream. Oh, that's black comedy. And then it went, oh, that's urban. And all that. All that's gone because we're the top crop now. So we run things. Now, the white guy used to pick the black guy. Like, for real. Like, if you go back to the 90s, it'd be like 5 white guys and they'll pick some black guy. They like, we like this guy. Put him on the show. Now we look good. We got a black guy. When you look at the show now, 5 black people, 1 white guy.
1 white guy, yes.
Hey, let's get Bill Burr. Shout out to Bill Burr. That's my guy. But yeah, so now the game has changed drastically to that. You feel what I'm saying? So when you look up there, like I go up there business-wise because it made sense with radio. I already got an automatic bullhorn to promote. And I'm heavy into the marketing game. You feel what I'm saying? So that's these things when you hear us throw these words out, publicists and agent and accountant and all that stuff. Accountants that's one thing to this day, bro. Like that to me is just, I'm never gonna understand how that's not a ripoff.
Right.
How you just send me a bill and put some shit on it and say billable hours. I don't know if you was up this late. Was you up for all these hours for real though?
That's a whole fact.
You just send me a piece of paper. I mean, hold on, man. 39 hours? I gave you 1 W-9.
And he cut you a break because he said 39 instead of 40.
Right. They're trying to make it look real.
Exactly. Yeah, I gave you a break.
39, you was up last night. 39 is 24 in a day. How you get 30? This dude is ripping me off.
That's a whole fact.
Right.
That's real though.
Got you. So,
I'm sorry. I was closing out. Yeah, the documentary is called
Right.
It's Just Comedy, and it's about the Renaissance on that. So that's one thing I'm working on. Tour-wise, I'm juggling the 3 tours. I got the New York Kings still out there. We'll be at Levity Live, 4th of July weekend. I still got my Cousins in Comedy tour with me and Ed Lover. And then I got a tour that I do spot dates with John Hinton, Overton from Living Single, who's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
He's out of Cleveland.
He's funny.
Live.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. But juggling those strings on top of me, just being talent, doing shows and headlining, keeps you busy.
And a lot of this is going through your agencies now.
Yeah, everything. Not a lot of it. All of it.
All of it.
That's dope.
All of it. All of it. Like, if you wanted to go through your thing, then that's another cost to that. There's another fee to that. But you can own your rights, but I got to own my rights. Nowadays, here's the thing. When you get something you own or do or produce and you want to make real money on it, don't sell it. You don't sell it. You license it out. So if you ever pay attention, you'll look at a show or a special, and this month for the next 2 years, it'll be on HBO. HBO got so-and-so. And then 2 years it's down. It's off of HBO. It pops up on Showtime. Then it pops up on Comedy Central.
Right.
Then it pops up on Freevee. Then it pops up on this channel, Hulu and all that. That means that person just keep licensing it out, making money off the same thing. If I sell it one time, that's exactly what I do. Sell it one time. And guess what the person you sold it to going to do? They're going to license it out like you should have did in the first place.
Exactly.
Got you. Yeah, that was a jump. That was a jump.
And that's all what syndication is.
Definitely a jewel.
Right.
Think about what syndication is. I'm going to give you a guap. Make you happy for your show. Your sitcom been on 10 seats. You're going to be like this, 27 million, B. We syndicated, man. I got 27 million. I'm good. He going to take that and license that out so much. He going to make 127 million. And you thought you had the bag. But you sold it. Watch the documentary that they got about Stax Records. He say some very interesting stuff in there. Is it on Netflix? It's on Netflix. Yeah, I think it's on Netflix.
Okay.
And Hulu. I think I seen it on Hulu.
Okay.
But it's very interesting because one of the dudes who owned the company says that he had a chance. They used to do some work on the yard at the Rockefeller's mansion, and he had a chance to have some words with Rockefeller. And he was like talking to him. He was telling him about what he's trying to do, and he was like, "Well, let me tell you something about business, and especially big business." He said, "If you're successful, look out for this." He said, the powers that be, if you get successful, you're going to somehow start to infringe on somebody else's territory. Can't help it. That's what blowing up is, right?
Right.
He said, then those bigger powers are going to come to you. They're going to try to buy it. If you don't sell it to them, they're going to try to emulate it or copy it. And if they're not satisfied with the copy and imitation of your product, they're going to smash you and disintegrate you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened to Stax Record.
Yeah.
And that was Clive
If you don't
Davis'
play
early
ball,
days,
they're gonna
bro.
tear you down.
You
Yeah.
got to see that documentary. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Good business thing to watch.
Yeah. Okay, that's what's up. So right about now, we got the rapid fire. You know what
do
I'm
it.
saying? Rapid fire is when I ask you a person, place, a thing. You give it to me like in 2 words. You know what it means to you.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna shoot with JB Smooth,
Icon.
Albie Shore,
Trendsetter.
Chris Rock,
Genius.
Richard Pryor,
Even more genius.
Adele Givens,
Classy.
Heavy D,
The backbone of Mount Vernon, baby.
and the town Money on in Mount Vernon.
Where it all started from. Like New Edition said, it's where it all started from.
Okay.
This is the factory.
All right. So we're gonna switch just a little bit now. So DL Hughley or Steve Harvey? Who's
DL.
better? DL. Okay. Ice Cube or Snoop?
Cube.
Okay. Stephanie Mills or Patti LaBelle?
Ooh. Damn. This turned into an SAT. Say it again.
Stephanie Mills or Patti LaBelle?
Damn.
That's a tough one.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Stephanie Mills.
Okay, and last,
That's tough.
the last one, Nas or Jay-Z?
Oh, Nas.
There you go. You got it.
Easy. That's
Good.
easy.
That was good. Yo, listen, this was long overdue.
Facts.
Sorry I took so long to get talent here in the building. But he dropped some gems tonight.
All day, baby.
And we definitely going to do a part 2 when you come back off a lot of your tours and stuff like that. And we're going to get, the part 2 is going to be just dropping down the business to our culture. Our culture needs to know the business
Well, that's dope.
of what you're doing.
Can't wait to get
That's
back,
dope.
man. You already know.
Yes, you already know.
Can't wait to get back.
Another episode of Nothing But Love, talented comedian. Look out for part 2. Love y'all. See you soon.
No.
Yeah. We here with talented comedian from Money on the Mount Vernon. Def Comedy Jam. In the movies and all that.
You know what I'm saying? We in this joint, we in the joint.
Yeah, so
You got ready Tuesday. Ready my whole life. You started rehearsing Tuesday. You got some with comedian stuff. You know what I mean? It's called facts. Some people say comedian stuff. We have to lie.